Hello. Welcome to my vlog. My name is Sanjar. I'm a software developer at Uber. Originally from Kazakhstan, living in the Netherlands. So, I decided to start my vlog, and that's pretty anticlimactic. Not only that, but I also do that in English, right? I started doing my vlog in Russian before that. Since I'm from Kazakhstan, I kind of speak Russian. I kind of like, talk with my friends in Russian and whatever. But in reality, I just realized that I want to share my information in English, right? Because there's just so much more space for discussions, so much more audience, so much more content in English. And I think English speaking world is just kind of a little bit better calibrated towards emotional health, right? And just emotional well-being. And that's kind of like something that I really want to focus my channel on. So I have ADHD, yeah, AD fucking HD. No, I don't have ADHD, I have ADUHD, or I have AD4K, bro. Like that's really what I have, because I've been suffering with that shit for my whole life, and I was like thinking, bro, am I a fucking loser? I know that I was smart, I know that I could do lots of things if I wanted to, but I could never. And it wasn't even related to any kind of lessons, right? Olympiads. I was participating in math Olympiads, but I couldn't really succeed because I didn't really want to prepare. I loved solving my math problems on the Olympiad, where there were like lots of people. I managed to get like Grand Prix when I was like a middle school student or whatever, in like city-wide competitions. Not to brag, but just like to give you the baseline, right? But eventually I just couldn't qualify anywhere. And I was like, bro, am I a fucking loser? I was playing Dota for a very long time actually, but I was pretty good at that. But I realized lots of people, they progress much slower than I do, but they progress. And when I start things, I just do everything impulsively. I know that I would die, I know that I would feed, but I would do that anyway, bro. Like, I would just click that fucking button, and I would do that with anything. So I think that's something that I was like thinking, bro, like, am I wrong, or is everybody like that? And I just decided thinking that I was wrong and everybody was like that. So it's very interesting, because in Kazakhstan there's no such thing as the ADHD. It's just called laziness, right? I lived in Hungary, and people were not also treating ADHD there. And when talking to my friend and other friends, they were just like trolling me, right? Because like, oh my god, you have such a fucking huge ADHD, bro. Like, you're just constantly context switching, doing that and this and that. And I was like thinking, well, yeah, but isn't everyone like that? And then some of my friends, they said like, okay, I gotta work, and they really work. They don't get distracted. I was like, bro, like, what's wrong with me? So I decided to have like a Spartan lifestyle. I was just becoming like a Spartan person, doing cold showers, embracing self-hatred, right? Fueling myself to go forward on a self-hatred. And that kind of helped me. I wouldn't lie, that helped me a lot. But when I got my job at Uber, I jumped on the next level, and that next level I just couldn't carry on my self-hatred, because there was like two ways. Either I would hate myself more, which I didn't want to do at that time, right? Or I would kind of like get fired. And that's pretty interesting, because my colleague actually had ADHD as well. And he shared with me that, hey dude, I have ADHD, I've been diagnosed in the Netherlands, that's pretty easy. And I'm on Ritalin. And I was like, okay, I gotta do that. I've been procrastinating on that for a very long time. But eventually I got my appointment. I just had to wait for a couple of months. Luckily for me, I didn't have to wait for a year, like with some other insurances. And then I've been diagnosed pretty much straightforward ADHD. That wasn't ADHD, that was like AD4K, because I was 99% more distractible than like I was in the 99th percentile of people that been passing QBT test, and that told me a lot of things. And from there, I started doing my Ritalin treatment, and that helped me a lot. Actually, that helps. And not only that, kind of like you start self-accepting yourself for who you are. Like, okay, I can talk a lot. Okay, I just embrace myself for who I am at the moment. And I really like Western culture for that, right? Because although like lots of people say that you're very individualistic, right? Very hypercritical, whatever, I don't think that's true at all. I think being individualistic is actually very important for your mental well-being, because you just have to have your borders, you have to define who you are as a person, right? You couldn't be like, in Soviet Union, people they were just told to write with your right hand, even though if you were like left-handed. Like, I'm not even talking about atrocities, but like, you can tell a lot about the regime just building bottom up, right? And then when teachers, they were saying like, nah, in Soviet Union, you never did like this, my bro, my comrade. No, you write with your right hand always in Soviet Union, in Mother Kazakhstan, in Mother Russia. You always write with your right hand. Left hand is for American traitors or whatever, right? Some kind of bullshit. But yeah, I think my life changed a lot. My life changed completely. And I think that's something that made me want to live again. On top of that, I'll be talking about psychotherapy in general, because I've been going through therapy by myself, without any kind of people supporting me in the beginning. And that shit's been tough. That's been very tough. But not diving into that, just wanted to say that Ritalin actually, what I noticed, in lower doses, it actually helps you to go through your emotional pain if you have ADHD. Because you don't get like that productive that you can work and focus, but you get productive enough to kind of like see and concentrate on one thing that's bothering you. And what's bothering you is just an emotion that you gotta live through, right? And that's very useful, that's very helpful. Talk about different substance use, right? Talk about utility. In any case, thank you for watching. Thank you for being with me. That's been a pleasure. I'll be doing some more content in the future for sure, but I just wanted to make like a first introduction format, especially just like kind of give the context on who I am as a person, because you're gonna see a lot of freestyle. I do freestyle music. I do kind of like design sometimes from time to time, if I'm not being too self-critical to myself. But that's it. Thank you for joining, and leave a comment if any of you just like kind of watched it, or you gotta like say anything. I would be happy to get my first comment. All right, bye.